Hi guys, this is Jo and you're still watching Raketera Mama in New Zealand, where I'll be sharing all things about our life and our journey here in New Zealand. Our topic for today is about studying here, and if you're also interested in that, then this video might be of help to you. Gusto ko siyang i-discuss kasi malaki yung investment pagpunta rito. Tapos, ayaw nyong masayang yung investment na yon. So, there are a lot of things that you need to consider. Hindi lang yung basta school at saka yung gastos, kundi yung pathway ninyo after ninyong mag-aral. Unang magandang pag-isipan is yung anong level of study ba yung iyong iti-take. This is very important, hindi lang dahil sa iba-iba yung presyo, depende sa level, pero dahil ito yung magde-determine ng pathway mo after mong mag-study. You don't wanna be studying and then just end up having to go home, living in New Zealand kasi hindi mo na plano yung step after the study, okay? So, ang levels of study ay per number. Like, for example, level 7 is a bachelor's degree. Meron ding, usually 3 years yan. Pero syempre, ayaw mo mag-aral ng 3 years, no? Pero if it's an option for you, then why not? So, 3 years. Meron ding level 7 na non-degree na tinatawag nila. Ito yung graduate certificate or graduate diploma. Yung presyo niyan, iba-iba rin. Nasa 26,000 pataas. Depende sa school. And minsan, 1 year or even less than 1 year. Meron ding level 8, and that's the post-grad diploma or certificate. Usually, 1 year yan. Hindi ko alam kung merong 1.5 years. And ang presyo, nasa ganun din naman mga 30,000 New Zealand dollars upwards. Ang kinuha ko ay level 9, and that's master's degree. So, siya ay 1 to 2 years na study. Nag-aral ako sa Polytechnic, that's Unitec, and inabot yung tuition ko noong time na yun, 30,000 NZ dollars. Yung kapatid ko, nag-aral siya sa ICL, it's a private institution. Mabot din na around $30,000 yung kanyang tuition. Pero ngayon, ang Unitec parang nasa 40,000 plus na. So, imagine yung mga universities, nagtaas na rin sila malamang. Okay, and then level 10 is yung PhD. I don't know about you, but ako hindi ko na talaga kayang mag-PhD. Hindi ko na kaya. Nag-aral lang naman ako para tumawid, makatawid yung buong family. Anong advantages nung pag-aaral ng level 9 is, una, masasama mo kasi yung family mo. Pag lower than level 9, hindi mo sila pwedeng isama. Like, if you have a partner, or if you have a husband and you have kids, hindi mo sila pwedeng isama. That's why, for myself, ang napili ko is level 9. That way, masama ko si husband, makakapag-work siya habang nag-aaral ako, tapos, masusupport din namin yung anak namin. So, kung kahit 3 o ilan yung anak nyo, pwede nyong isama. Okay? Pagka level 8, no, it's not allowed as far as I understand. So, best to talk to your immigration advisor. Okay? So, just a side note, I'm not a licensed immigration advisor. So, this is not an advice, but just sharing to you about our experience. Next mong step is post-study work visa. And that gives you the time to look for employment here in New Zealand legally. Pag wala kasing post-study work visa, kahit nag-aral ka rito, hindi ka pwedeng magstay. Kung hanggang saan lang yung expiry ng visa mo, hanggang doon ka lang pwede. You need to go out of New Zealand, fly out of New Zealand. So, halimbawa, sa level, yung duration ng post-study work visa mo, dependent din naman siya sa level of study mo. Alam ko, equivalent length of time, except for the master, so which is level 9. So, 3 years ang post-study visa mo kapag level 9 ang kinuha mo. Ibig sabihin, meron kayong 3 taon ni husband ulit at saka yung anak na magstay dito sa New Zealand. That's enough time para makahanap ka ng work in preparation dun sa next visa na pag-uusapan natin mamaya, which is your residency visa. Okay, level 9 yon. Pero paano kung lower than level 9? Then equivalent siya sa duration sa length ng study mo. Kung level 8 ang study mo, tapos 1 year yon, ang post-study visa mo is just 1 year. And during that year, kailangan talagang masipag maghanap. Mahaba yun, pero mabilis lang yun, lalo na ngayon, recession. Medyo challenging maghanap ng trabaho. Kapag lower than that, well, depende na siya. I suggest you'd read more about it sa immigration website or consult your immigration advisors, okay? Maraming nagkamali dyan. I know of a Filipina din siya. She studied level 7. She did not realize na walang post-study yung level 7 kapag non-degree. So, hindi niya alam yun. Akala niya makakapag-stay siya. Unfortunately, hindi siya, it was too late for her to make amends and, find some remedies para sa case niya. So, unfortunately, even after spending so much, she had to go home. So, ang suggestion ko talaga is hanap kayo ng information about the post-study visa relating to your study. Kaya, feeling ko, sulit yung binayad namin dun sa level 9 study ko kasi mahal siya. Tapos, pero ang kapalit niya is nasama ko si husband and yung anak ko. Tapos, 3 years pa yung kapalit na post-study work visa. Okay. Ano ang next? So, syempre, nakapaghanap ka na ng work. Let's say na post-study work visa ka. Kaya mas gusto mo ng longer na post-study work visa kasi ang next mo naman na i-work out is yung iyong residency. Yung residency ng family ninyo. Okay, now we go to residency. Kasi, kaya sabi ko sa importante from study kasi papunta ka ng residency. So, sa case namin, bago pa kami pumunta dito sa Nilan, pinlano ko na yon, may mga parang plan B na ako, what if hindi kami maganito, what if hindi ganyan. So, alam ko na yung gagawin. So, original plan was study and then get post-study work visa, which is 3 years. Pag hindi pa rin kami umubra dun sa ma-residente after post-study work visa, hanap kami ng employer na accredited. So, that's accredited employer work visa, which is 3 to 5 years. And then, sana naman, after that, ma-residente na, di ba? Pero buti na lang sa amin, after study, dahil na-plan out ko siya ng maigi, nag-apply kami agad. Habang nag-aaral pa ako, ang ginamit namin qualification is yung kay husband because he's in the IT field. And nagkataon, meron siyang experience sa isang role na may shortage dito sa New Zealand. So, during our time, meron pa silang tinatawag na skill shortage. And dahil nandun kami sa list, meron kaming points na nakuha, na consider dun sa aming application. Simpler yung residency point system ngayon. Hindi ko masabing kung madali ba or what, pero simpler siya kumpara dun sa nung kami. Ang kailangan mo lang, halimbawa for us study, ang pathway, no, yung level of study mo, may corresponding point siya. Tapos yung, pwede mo siyang complement ng work experience mo. Okay, i-breakdown natin siya into components. Sa levels of study, nag-start lang siya sa 3 points. And that is if level 7 degree course ka. So, kung hindi ka degree course, like yung na-share ko kanina, wala siyang points. So, let's say, level 7 degree, 3 points. Level 8, 4 points. Level 9 na study, which is the master's, is 5 points. And if nag-PhD ka, 6 points agad. So, kung nag-PhD ka, then qualified ka na-comply mo yung point requirement ng SMC category. Okay. Pero since ako, level 5 ako, ang dapat sana na post-study ko, ang dapat sana na points ko, di 5. Saan ko kukunin yung kulang na 1? Then, kukunin ko yun sa work experience. So, kung level 8 ka naman, di 4 points, kailangan mo ng 2 years worth ng work experience. Ganun naman pag level 7, 3. So, kailangan mo ng 3 years na worth ng work experience. Hindi lang siya basta work. Okay? Kukwalify natin yon. May certain requirements yung work para ma-consider. So, una, median wage. Kailangan you're paid on or above the median wage. Hindi kailangang aligned yung work mo doon sa inaral mo. Okay? Which is good. Kasi minsan pwedeng may iba kang skills na higher paying kesa dun sa natapos mo. Then, okay lang yon. Basta yung pay mo is median wage. And then, you're full-time, at least 30 hours per week. Okay? And then, kung permanent, or if contract ka, I think the contract should be 12 months or more. Yung contract mo. Para pwede kang mag-qualify doon sa points para sa SMC. Okay. Ang challenging doon is yung median wage kasi hindi naman syempre agad-agad kang babayaran ng median wage ng mga employers. It's very lucky for you if you get offered that. So, yun yung i-consider ninyo. Kaya, sinasabi ko na umpisa pa lang, planuhin mo na yung iyong magiging level of study. Wag lang yung tuition fee yung consideration mo. Kasi, that will determine yung magiging pathway mo. So, like, for example, for me, I felt like ang pinakasulit is level 9. Kasi nakakuha ko ng 3 years na post-study. Tapos, which gives me time para ma-comply yung requirement para sa residency. Tapos, 1 point na lang ang kulang. 'Di ba? Pag na-comply mo yung 1 point, na check mo lahat ng requirements, eligible ka na, pwede ka na mag-submit ng expression of interest, and then hanggang ma-invite ka to apply for residency. Kung level 10, mas masipag ka, go, 'di ba? At least wala ka nang iisiping work experience after 6 points agad. Kung level 8 ang kinuha mo, then meron ka lang 1 year. 1 year para ma-comply yung residency requirement. Hindi ka naman sure, syempre, na right after mong mag-aral, makakakuha ka na ng job offer na mako-comply mo lahat yung lahat yung requirement ng residency. Pwedeng may work ka pero hindi median. Kailangan mo nga at least 12 months. 12 months na naka-check yon yung mga requirements na yon. Okay? So, it depends on you kung ano yung gusto mo syempreng level. Pero I suggest lang talaga, keep this in mind, consider them. After all, you don't wanna be wasting so much of your funds and then just realize at the end, oh my gosh, I chose the wrong level of study. Alright? So good luck in making that decision, and of course, raising those funds. In the other video, I will talk about the course and choosing the schools for you. So, just a few tips para hindi rin magkamali, and please magandang i-consider. Thank you for watching. Bye!